absolutely adore watching him perform. I need you guys to give a loud round of applause to Edward Walden!
Yeah!
So I hope you guys are autistic because this is going to be a train wreck. All right. So let's give it up for all the other comics we've seen tonight. One more time for Ryan's birthday. So I don't want to get too political, but I think it's kind of funny that the word assassinate has the word ass in it twice, and this election does too. All right. So, I know what you guys are thinking, and despite the way that I look, I was actually pretty popular in high school. My junior year, I was voted most likely to be middle in a human centipede. So, it's a very weird high school, but you know. My brother back in high school was actually known as a bit of a Romeo, but that's just because his girlfriend faked her own death. It's fine. Actually, somebody the other day said I look like a cop, and you know, to be fair, I do look incompetent. But they said I look like a cop who'd been undercover in a gang for 20 years. And I don't know, I think that if I'd been undercover as a gang member for 20 years, at this point, I'm just a gang member. Somebody just forgot to pull me out. I got fired from Barnes & Nobles because they caught me moving all the Bibles to the fantasy section. But it's not as bad as the time I got fired from a suicide helpline. Apparently we don't use reverse psychology here. Should have been like the new hire training, I think. One time I got hired to come up with a bunch of school mottos for some schools around here. One was for the Boulder School for Entitled Orphans. Their motto was, "Do you know who my parents are?" Another one was for the Colorado School for Deaf Stepchildren, where we don't have to listen to you. And then there was the Denver Athletic School of the Blind, where there's no eyes in team. I got fired from that job too. I got fired from KFC because apparently their slogan is KFC, we do chicken right. Not KFC, we fuck chickens well. That was like an honest mistake. Speaking of getting fired, I was reading about this science teacher who worked at a Christian high school, and they fired him because they found out he played in a rock and roll band, which I think is like the craziest thing I've ever heard, because I had no idea they taught science at Christian high schools. News to me. Something else they don't teach you in school, did you know that Marie Antoinette's favorite song was actually Protect Your Neck by the Wu-Tang Clan? Very true, you can Google that. So I don't know who the world's biggest pop punk fan is, but it's probably some 41-year-old guy. I told that joke to a bunch of boomers once, and I just got a bunch of blank stares, and then they just blinked 182 times. So I still live with a roommate because my love language is disappointing my parents. And I had to explain to this guy the other day that tofu is not a form of vegan martial arts. It's actually yoga. I had to tell him the other day that Roe versus Wade is not an upcoming MMA fight. He somehow bet $50 on Wade. I think that if the Virgin Mary had access to safe abortion, we wouldn't be in this whole mess anyway. I mean, I could be wrong. Like 3 days later, she might just be pregnant again. I'm not sure how that works. I like to put those jokes on my Christian Mingle profile. Find out who's really desperate. So I think like the worst flavor of mint is probably pavement. Very gritty.
Pretty. Gross.
I think that Kanye West should have named at least one of his kids An American Tale 2, Five-O Goes. Wasted opportunity. I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could open like her own roofing company, and she could call it All the Shingle Ladies. I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she can like put on her own like Christmas pageant. She could call it All the Kringle Ladies. So I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could hire women to like go to a party and like hang out and like talk to people and stuff, and she could call it All the Minkle Ladies. So I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could start like a dating service, but specifically for 1970s sitcom stars, and she could call it All the Single Brady's. I only have like 15 more of these. Let's go. All right. I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could have herself like deep faked into a bunch of old Humphrey Bogart movies, and she could call it Book All the Single Ladies. All right. That one was a bit of a stretch there. All right, we'll pass on those. I got banned from Instagram Live for 30 days because I posted a picture that said that the CIA got inner city ducks addicted to quack cocaine. They apparently did not want the truth to come out. When I was a kid, I kind of hoped my mom would stop smoking crack, but that turned out to be a pipe dream. My mom used to be like a really bad drug addict, and now she's a born again Christian. So I liked her way better as a drug addict. Less memes. It's weird growing up with when you know your mom's a drug addict. Like she would always be like, "Hey, don't do drugs," but what she meant was, "Hey, don't do my drugs." So, it's a little different. Do you guys know that the reason they call them the pearly gates is because God always be coming on them? That joke's for mom, alright. I knew this guy back home who had this really weird kink where he used to like to get fucked in the ear all the time. But it turns out he really should have used protection because now he's got hearing aids. They're not like partial ones either. They're full-blown aids. My friend was bragging the other day about how he never gave someone gonorrhea, and I was like, "What do you want me to do? Clap?" So I was trying to explain to my friend the other day, like about how good the food in Barcelona is, but they told me to stop mansplaining. All right. That's fine. You go home and cry. You guys don't like my stupid spinning joke. So I was reading that Leonardo DiCaprio's next movie is going to be made by a 24-year-old model that he's dating. That'd be fun. Do you guys know that R. Kelly is really bad at blackjack? It's because he keeps hitting on 16. So the first two atomic bombs. This isn't even going the way you think this is going to go. The first two atomic bombs were called Fat Man and Little Boy. And I think that sounds like a dating app for overweight priests. I mean, you know, being molested can seriously change a person. That's why they call them altar boys. Alright, so a lot of people say that maybe I should stop making jokes about priests fucking kids. But I think maybe priests should just stop fucking kids. And that would solve both our problems. I also think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could, go around and try to find lonely women in the South. She could call it, y'all the single ladies. I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could blind women on the road to Damascus. She could call it Paul the Single Ladies. Alright, it's 7 left now. So I think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she could treat you like one of her French girls and draw the single ladies. Alright. So I was driving home the other day, and this Amber Alert went off, and some guy had kidnapped this little blonde girl. And I matched the age, the description, and 3 of the license plate numbers. But I mean, I wasn't too worried because I had a completely different type of car. And plus, the kid in my trunk was a redhead. So I wasn't too worried about it. So, yeah, my dad and I had like kind of a weird relationship. Like when my parents first got pregnant, my mom, she really wanted a girl. And my dad, he really wanted a miscarriage. So we got off to a kind of rocky start. But my dad did give me some like really good advice when I first started dating. He sat me down, he's like, son, back then he still called me son. He said, son, I want you to know that sex is just like pizza. They are both disgusting at Chuck E. Cheese. And then after that, every time I leave the house, he'd be like, hey, don't fuck at the Chuck. I'm like, okay, I'll go to Little Caesar or something. Do you think short guys watch a lot of step ladder porn? So in Mexico, they call the war on Christmas Police Navidad. Ladies, don't you hate it when a guy's like, yeah, it's big, and then he puts on a completely different Tom Hanks movie? So, my grandma passed away during during the pandemic, during the lockdown. And because of that, we never really got a chance to, bury her. And that really sucks because her room's really starting to smell. It's pretty gross. So I think that I want to move to New York City and start my own prosthetic leg business. I'm going to call it, hey, I'm walking here. These are fun. You guys are fun. This is a lot of fun. So I think that my best dating quality is that I look like I'm probably open to being picked. So it turns out that you can rent the Purple Rain house from the Prince movie Purple Rain on Airbnb, so you get a chance to be Prince for a day. Or you can help your dad overthrow a country. You can Prince for a lifetime. Thank you, Michelle. Anyway. Alright. I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay, so I kind of thought that when he stopped drinking that my uncle would stop slurring his words. But nope, he's still racist. My uncle's he's super racist, but he's also super gay. He's kind of what you would call a white power bottom. I don't really know how that works, but you end up with a well-soiled Confederate flag at the end, so I think that's pretty good. I also think that if Beyonce ever got tired of ruling the world, she can open her own dry cleaning / tailor shop, and she can call it 99 Problems, but a Stitch Ain't One. All right. That is a whole ending.